Welcome to TW Sports Talk here in this Thanksgiving Eve edition of the show. Here in the middle of bye week still.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just waiting for this game to happen because this is probably with the Eagles and the Cardinals now probably the toughest game that they have left on the schedule.
Yes,
The Cardinals, of course, coming off a big win over the Colts.
they just
They
destroyed
destroyed
them.
them. Yeah.
The same Colts team that
They
that
beat
that
the Seahawks earlier in this, beat the
the
Broncos.
Broncos. Yes, the Denver Broncos.
So, yeah, the Cardinals are for real if anybody's been
Definitely,
wondering.
definitely.
And yeah, it's going to be a tough test. Now, there's different. Obviously, there's different factors in this game that the Eagles benefit from.
Mm-hmm.
The bye week, obviously, the fact that Arizona has to travel, and that the weather could be, depending how cold it is. Right now today, it's pretty. It's borderline. It's raining out there, but it's like
Yes,
a mix of snow almost. So I mean, well, it might get milder as we head into the weekend, but
yes,
I don't know.
but Arizona has a defense
They do have a defense, yeah,
and a very legitimate quarterback
yeah,
and wide receiving tandem
right.
too.
And
So it's not. Like I
it's
said,
not,
it's not going to be a walk in the park. In
yeah, it
fact,
won't be.
it could get pretty damn ugly for the Eagles,
Yeah,
depending on what happens.
yeah. Now, like I said, I mean, coming off the bye, they're pretty fresh.
Yes.
With the defense too. It's going to be a game. I don't think it's going to be very high scoring.
Mm-hmm.
The defense, I think it's going to be a matter of getting pressure again on Carson Palmer, kind of like
Yes.
it, because that secondary, our secondary is not very good.
Although, if you talk to Kerry Williams, he thinks he's the
You
greatest
think,
corner in
yeah,
in the universe.
yeah,
Trash talking to every wide receiver he gets a chance to.
yeah, but uh, but if when they get pressure on the quarterback all game or most of the game like they did, it kind of masks the fact that the secondary,
Mm-hmm.
isn't too great. Um, so
So as such, you're saying a lot of Connor Baldwin and Fletcher Cox need to
yeah,
happen.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean Connor Barwin. I mean, too, like he sometimes he bats balls right at the
Yeah.
line, and the thing is, Palmer has been really solid lately.
Yes,
He hasn't been
definitely.
he hasn't been throwing interceptions, and that's definitely been a key to the Cardinals being a hot team.
Mm-hmm.
If the Eagles can get pressure on Carson Palmer, maybe they force a couple interceptions,
Mm-hmm.
maybe some key sacks, and that's the thing too. I mean, RG3. He was able to get out of some of the bad play, the bad situations,
Yeah.
given his mobility.
He also got destroyed in a lot of
But
plays
yeah,
too.
that's the thing. Yeah, he doesn't take hits too well,
No.
and I mean, it's if they get some pressure on Carson Palmer,
Mm-hmm.
again, it's defense being fresh with the week off.
Yeah.
That might be the key to the game.
I think another key is protection.
Right.
Because I think if Foles is pressured the whole
Exactly.
game, we're
Yeah.
going to see another Dallas Cowboys incident.
Right.
Hopefully, minus a concussion, but
Yeah.
no, I mean, actually I'm just going to call it out. I think Nick Foles, this whole no interception ends on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think Foles one or two picks against this very talented Arizona Cardinals defense.
And now, speaking of the Cardinals defense, I think late last week I was listening.
Mm-hmm.
Sal Palantonio broke it down that the Cardinals blitz about 50% of the time,
Mm-hmm.
most in the league.
Yeah.
So he's gonna.
That used to be like an Eagles defense motto.
Yeah.
Too. They used to blitz a lot.
Yeah. So hopefully Chip Kelly's has been during this time
Yeah.
taking that into consideration. They'll probably see a lot of blitzes,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll have to game plan around that, and if they have extra time to do that, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, then when they face Detroit the next week, I believe
Yes, it's Detroit.
Detroit actually blitzes the least amount. So there's
Mm-hmm.
between these two games, there's going to be a big, a difference there that see how they game plan for. But
Yeah. So
yeah, the Cardinals will focus on them first.
yeah, because I mean, obviously Dallas beat New York, something that you and me did not want to see happen.
Yeah.
And it happened in a way that I think shocked people. Tony Romo did not choke in the final drive. He drove him down, he got him in field goal range, and they won the game. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Looking at it, obviously they should beat Oakland tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if they lost to the Raiders.
Yeah. We'll root for the Raiders, but
No,
probably
but
not. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I'm being realistic, Tyler. I don't see it
it's
happening.
probably not happening.
It's probably not going to happen. So after that, it's Monday night against the Chicago Bears then,
Yeah.
which depending on which Chicago team shows up could be an interesting game.
Depending if Jay Cutler's back. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean there's a lot of factors there. Then Green Bay, which I think is going to be interesting depending on Rodgers. Rodgers should be back by then.
Yeah,
he should
by then. Yeah.
And then like I said, Washington RG3. I think that should be a win because like at this point Washington just has given up on the season. Yeah. And then finally shown it against Dallas. Now, for me, the best case scenario for us is we both go 2-2 next 4 games.
Yeah.
Which I guess for us would be Minnesota. And I'm just gonna say Detroit. I think Detroit's a better chance than Chicago right now
of beating them.
I don't see us beating Arizona. I don't see us beating Arizona.
Yeah, I mean that's the toughest game left on the schedule. So if they're gonna lose a game, if they lose,
and I see Dallas beating. I see Dallas beating Oakland and Washington and losing probably to Chicago and Green Bay.
Yeah,
that's the best case scenario there.
Yeah,
because if they go 3-1 and we go 2-2 and we have like a one, they've won the division essentially then
because the tiebreaker.
The first tiebreaker is division record.
Yeah,
well, first is head to head, which if we would beat them would be discounted.
Yeah,
if they would beat Washington, they would be 5-0. We would be 4-2
in the division. Right?
I'm sorry, 3-2. So we could not. They would win that tiebreaker.
Head to head would be tied, and
the second one would be division. That would go to them. So we would essentially need a same record to happen.
Yeah.
Or we have a better record than they do.
Yeah.
The point is we can't have we can't come in with them having a better record, even a 1-game advantage over us, even if we would beat them.
Yeah.
If that would be the case, we would need Washington to at least beat them then.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? If they go 3-0. And their only loss coming out is against Washington. That's good for us because then we have a chance to pull it off.
Yeah.
Because then here's the thing: the third tiebreaker is going to be interesting. Common opponents.
Yeah.
And I did math. We have the advantage right now. We are 2-0 against common opponents. I think it's Oakland and Green Bay. They've lost to Detroit, but they beat Minnesota.
Yeah.
We still got Chicago on the list, and they still have Oakland and Green Bay yet. And we have, of course, Detroit and Minnesota yet. Yeah. There's also Kansas City, San Diego, Denver. Discount those 3 because we lost all 3. Almost lost to those 3 teams. So we do have an advantage, but we got 3 more opponents yet. Detroit, Chicago, and Minnesota. And they got 3 yet. Oakland, Green Bay, and Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Oakland, Minnesota. Oakland, Chicago, Green Bay.
Yeah.
So that's a key tiebreaker to keep a look at, too, if we get to that point, too. Because that's advantage us right now.
Yeah.
And that's there. We don't need to beat Arizona. We just need to win those 3 games then.
If they, because it'll most likely, it'll come down to the Dallas game.
Yeah, we can hope. We can hope though. But if that doesn't, if that doesn't happen though, then we need. I think if they beat Oakland and they beat Chicago and we lose to Arizona, but we beat Detroit, it's a simple scenario. Then we have to beat Minnesota, and then we have to beat Chicago. And we need Dallas to I almost would say guaranteed need to at least lose against Washington to have a shot then.
Yeah.
Just because of the whole tiebreaker deal. Because we need at least, at this point here, we need to, we're going to tire them with the same record. We can't have them have the division advantage.
Right.
So that Washington game becomes very important then.
Yeah.
And I just cannot bank my money on the Redskins right now.
Their defense,
I mean, RG3, I think, might even get benched, and Kirk Cousins is not going to beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're a Dallas fan, I think right now, advantage Cowboys, just schedule-wise. I think they have the better schedule right now than we do.
Yeah.
Because they said they might be facing the Chicago Bears, who do not have a Jay Cutler back. We might be facing the Chicago Bears that do have Jay Cutler back.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of we beat a Packers team that didn't have Aaron Rodgers. They might have to face a Packers team that has Aaron Rodgers.
So it's about
I mean, I'm just saying it. If I had to pick the next 4 games before the showdown, advantage Cowboys.
Yeah.
Oakland, Chicago, Green Bay, Washington. Those are 2 winnable games there. Maybe a third with Chicago.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers, depending on how healthy. First, if they go 4-0, it's over. Then.
Yeah, it's at that point.
Scratch it. We could beat them at Jerry World. It doesn't matter. They're going to the division where they're probably going to lose to the either Carolina Panthers or the 49ers or the Cardinals, because I don't see them winning 1 game. And no expert does, but there's a lot of experts now saying that this is probably their division favorite right now.
Yeah.
Or Stephen A. Smith said it's a two-horse race. New York's dead.
They're dead. Yeah.
Their only shot was beating Dallas. That was to get it back in, but they're dead. Washington has been declared deceased for almost the entire season, pretty much.
How about that?
So it's a two-horse race now.
Yeah.
And like I said, just look at the schedule. I'd say advantage Cowboys.
Yeah. But now, it comes down to if they can match what the Cowboys do and beat the Cowboys. That's essentially what we're looking at.
That's what I'm saying. The best case scenario for us is that it's a 2-2 for both of us. We win 2 and lose 2. They win 2, they lose 2. And the 2 wins are easily going to be Oakland and Washington, which means we got to be a Chicago Bears fan Monday night and a Green Bay Packers fan the next week. Then.
Yeah.
And for us, we got it. If we lose to Arizona, and that's what I'm saying. I think you. I don't know. Do you think?
I wouldn't call it. I'm not right now. This moment,
I'm just saying Arizona is the hot team right now.
They are, yeah.
Granted, we're in a 3-game winning streak too, but I just think Arizona's beating a lot more legitimate teams, and they got a lot more of stuff that we do not have, aka a more steady defense, and I think right now a more trustworthy quarterback. Because I still do not trust Nick Foles, because I'm still thinking that there's gonna be a time when he's gonna go back to Dallas Cowboys Nick Foles. 90 yards, a lot of a lot of pressure, and a very frustrated Deshaun Jackson. Now, again, if that's the case, at least Michael Vick is healthy and he can go back in. I'm not saying that means Vick's going to win back the job, because I think Chip Kelly now has said it's final. It's Foles. This is the guy we're going with here. But I think if Foles wants to now prove that he can be the quote-unquote franchise QB, these next 5 weeks are key to him then.
Yeah.
And obviously, if he has a great game, a great game against Arizona, against that very good defense, I'd say he's really working towards that then. Yeah. But still, he has to finish strong.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said earlier, I mean, it's definitely the spotlight, too, is on Chip Kelly and how he game plans for Arizona's defense. Because, like we said, they like to blitz.
Which is not good news for you, LaShawn McCoy.
Right, yeah. So it's going to, how does he how does he game plan against that? Going back to Dallas, too. One thing with Dallas is that in December, they tend to be bad. Yeah. So who knows? They might cough up a game that, there could be a clunker game.
But here's the thing, though. I think Romo, that one drive against New York, I think is starting to show signs that he can finish games.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's actually one of the better fourth quarter quarterbacks, actually. Oh, yeah. He's had his choking moment.
Exactly. The interception against Denver, the cost of the game. Yeah. I mean, we all know about his horrible play. I'm sorry, Super Bowl. He's never been in one.
He only won one playoff game.
Horrible gets us nonetheless. Yeah. Great. He needed to beat Philadelphia to even get to that position.
Yeah.
Because it was us against them for the division title, and they beat us, but we got the 6th seed.
Yeah.
And then we lost badly, I might add. Yeah. I think that was McNabb's swan song too. So it was a. Yeah, so it's not a great record for Tony Romo. And don't get me wrong, there's no way this Dallas team's going to the Super Bowl this year. Yeah. If they win a playoff game, they've done more than anybody ever thought they would do.
Yeah.
But I think schedule-wise, advantage. Cowboys.
A slight advantage, yeah.
I mean, like I said, they're going to face an Oakland team, which we've beaten, and I think they should beat them. I think if Matt McGloin's going to start tomorrow.
Yeah, probably. That's what I've been
doing. I mean, he had a great game against Houston. Not so great against Tennessee.
Yeah.
So we'll see which Matt McGloin shows up tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think advantage Cowboys there definitely. I said Chicago Monday night. I mean, I know Romo struggled against them in the past, that defense, but this is
the defense isn't doing too well.
No, especially if it gets to the run, which is good news for us, but also good news for the Cowboys because Marco Murray is back.
Yeah.
And he might just run right through this Bears defense. Not to mention, like I said, I think if Cutler's not back by then, that hurts the offense capability of Chicago. Once again, advantage Cowboys then.
Yeah.
And then Green Bay, like I said, if Rodgers comes back, I think this is going to be their one loss then.
Yeah.
But like I said, then if they beat Chicago, we need at least Washington to beat them then.
Yeah.
Because we need some kind of an advantage, Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler, and as much as I don't want to put all my faith in the Mike Shanahan and the Redskins right now, but we might have to become a Redskins fan the week before to have a mathematical shot at winning this division.
Right. Yeah. Because if the Cowboys are 2-1 in these next games at that point, and the Eagles are like say 1-2, something, then obviously we need the Redskins to win at that point.
Yeah, because even if we, like I said, even if we if they go 2-2 and I don't know, we go 1-3, they'd be one game ahead of us.
Yeah.
And that one of those losses needs to be against the Redskins because, like I said, because
they would have to win the last game
because we cannot beat them in a division tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Our only shot at doing that was if the Giants beat them.
Yeah.
Our best chance now is we tie with them, and that can only happen if Washington beats Dallas. Yeah. And then I mean, because that's how the schedule was.
Yeah, and that we beat the Cowboys.
Yes, exactly.
Game, and then it would come down to common opponents.
Which, like I said, we have a 2-0 advantage to a 1-1.
Yeah.
Technically, it's a 2-3 to a 1-4. But like I said, I am discounting Kansas City, Denver, and San Diego because that's just even for everybody there.
Yeah.
But there is, and it's like I said, it's common opponent. But like I said, we beat Oakland. They're facing Oakland this week. We beat Green Bay. They haven't faced Green Bay yet.
Right.
They beat Minnesota. We haven't faced Minnesota yet. They lost to the Lions. We haven't faced the Lions yet. So it's common opponents, but it's not like we've exactly faced anybody the same yet. But we will in the next couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah. And now, too, with the Lions and the Bears being 6-5 now, now winning this division could possibly get them the 3rd seed, if you think about it.
Yeah, good point.
Because Cowboys, Eagles, Bears,
but then again,
Lions, they all have the same record.
But then again, think about it. I mean, that would mean we would either face the Arizona Cardinals or the San Francisco 49ers
in the wild
or the Carolina Panthers.
Or the Panthers, yeah.
I mean, although I still think the Saints could lose to
the Panthers. They still have to, because they still have to play each other twice.
People are saying that was a bad game by the Panthers. I'm sorry, they won the game.
Yeah,
they came back. Cam Newton played well in the second half, and they won the game.
Yeah,
that's more I can say about the Kansas City Chiefs right now. That played a close game, but couldn't get the job done in the end.
Time's yours.
Yeah.
Now that being said, I still think they can shock Denver maybe.
Yeah, they play this week already, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Denver this week, the final match.
Well,
and they're both 9. They both have 2 losses. They're both tied. So the winner would get the sole possession and would be the number 1 seed then. Because both still have a 1-game lead over the New England Patriots. Yeah. Although that could shorten pretty fast. But after Denver, I mean, Kansas City has Washington, which I think could be a win. Indianapolis could be a win. I think they face Oakland, which probably could be a win. And I think they face the Chargers again. And I guarantee they want a rematch against San Diego after that give up of a loss. And I'm just saying also, I'm curious how Payne Manning and his Broncos team handles that. Well, I don't want to call it a collapse, but that loss to New England. Because I mean, Kansas City had a collapse against San Diego, but I really think that the Denver loss to New England was more heartfelt than Kansas City's was.
Well, actually, I think that loss is going to toughen them up because the way that the win, they're going to have to, they had to throw through the bad wins. Peyton Manning. I think that was
which could happen at Kansas City because they're going to be playing at Mile High. This is at Kansas City, which is going to be cold, very cold.
Probably not as cold as what the New England game was, though.
But it could get windy in Missouri.
Yeah, it could. But I mean, I don't know if it will be as bad as it was.
Like I said, we'll see what happens there. You can't throw Kansas City out yet.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, if I had to pick that game, coming off of, Denver coming off of that New England loss. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to be hungry.
I mean, that being said, we both think Kansas City's making the playoffs.
I think they'll be hungry. I couldn't see Denver losing twice. Yeah, I mean, Kansas City will. Yeah,
Kansas City, like I said, they have a 4-game lead over the next closest team, which is like a 5-6 whatever team, pretty much, with 5 games.
Like 6 teams that are 5-6 right now.
So they would need to have a massive collapse to miss the playoffs, and I just in their schedule,
almost
minus Denver, it's a pretty manageable schedule for them.
Yeah. Well, the Colts too could. I mean, who knows which Colts?
Depends which Colts team shows up. But the Colts now, with 5 games left, have only a 2-game advantage over the Titans, who they face this Sunday.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big game for this.
Yeah, you never know.
Because really, that's the only team that can catch the Colts is the Titans.
Yeah,
Texans are dead. In fact, they're number 1 seed dead right now. Yeah. And Jacksonville now is not the worst team in football, but still is. No. They're out of it. They're not winning the division.
Yeah.
And then the AFC North, obviously Cincinnati
should have the division.
Has a 2-game lead, but Baltimore is still hanging around, and Pittsburgh has somehow miraculously have been brought back to life.
Yeah, one of those teams could be a wild card.
The AFC East is going to New England.
Yeah, obviously.
It's not going anywhere else. The final, I mean, the Jets. Geno Smith supposedly Rex Ryan is sticking with Geno Smith, it sounds like. It sounds like Mark Sanchez is done at New York. Yeah. It almost sounds like that he's not even going to get a chance this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked good against Carolina, but it's Tannehill, and I still don't know how if this incognito Martin situation hasn't still disrupted the locker room. And Buffalo, believe it or not, is only one game behind all these 5 and 6 teams yet. Yeah. And I'm looking at their schedule. They got the Jets. They got the they got the Falcons this Saturday, which sounds like a tough schedule, but since Atlanta's so bad this year too,
that's true. Yeah.
This could be. I mean, they got Atlanta, they got Miami, they got New York yet. I think they have Jacksonville on their schedule too. I mean, they have like 4 easy schedules coming up.
Yeah, that's true.
Then they end it with New England at the end, and by then New England might not even have their starters playing.
Yeah, that's true.
If they win 5 straight, 9 and 7, and
who knows?
And this week they could get the 6th seed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, who knows?
So I mean, Buffalo's not out of it yet. I mean, tell you, even Oakland's not out of it too. I mean, 4 and 7, they could make a run too, but they got to beat Dallas. Which, we won, but we'll see. I mean, I know we're going to be watching that at Thanksgiving because I have a lot of family members who are Cowboy fans.
Yeah,
which fun dinner always at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an interesting race, but I mean, obviously they'll have to play either, probably the Colts or the Bengals in the first round.
Yeah, and I don't think that if Buffalo Mason, they're going to win a game.
Yeah.
Even if it's against,
it'd be cool to see them.
If they won 5 straight, and it would be cool, especially for that franchise that's been waiting for.
It hasn't been in the playoffs in years. Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, even if EJ Manuel has better stats than quote unquote Andy Dalton, I don't see it happening. And even if the Bills kind of can compete with the Colts, at least because their defense isn't that good, and you never know which Andrew Luck's showing up now at this point here. Like I said, it would be Andrew Luck second year against rookie EJ Manuel, so it would be. I think both matches actually could be favorable to the Bills if you think about it. Because I can't trust Andy Dalton for the Bengals at this moment. Yeah. And Andrew Luck, I know I keep saying, and I still believe he's going to be the second Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning. Yeah. I still believe that in all my hearts. I know he hasn't showed it in the last few weeks, but I blame it a lot more on maybe who they faced and just the fact that I think the Colts, they can't get behind against anybody. They got to be out in front early to win a game. Although Houston was very lucky there. T.Y. Hilton had an amazing game in the second half. But, I mean, like I said, the AFC, it's a 2-horse race. A 3-horse race in the North.
Yeah.
South, it's a 2-horse race. And then, the West, it's a 3-horse race pretty much.
Yeah, the Chargers could somehow get in there. Too,
I mean, the NFC West. The NFC West. Although, like I said, although the NFC West, you're right. The Chargers could make a run at the end.
They're another 5 and 6 team now.
I mean, Grant, Denver's on that list again. Kansas City's on that list. They got Oakland again, I think. And I'm trying to think who they have. Like, they have 2 other non-conference divisional games too. With that defense,
the Chargers.
Let's be fair, they might have beaten and scored 41 on Kansas City, but Kansas City, that supposed to be sad excuse for an offense, scored 38 on
that. They have a good running. I mean, I wouldn't. They have a good
Jamal Charles is a beast.
Maybe not passing attack, but
no, but I'm just saying
the pace of the game was a shootout. It was ironic, but
I don't think that they can play a shootout every game and win games. You can't win that way.
San Diego,
San Diego, they won't. They're in the. You can't count them out. They do have Matt Bagwell's shot. I don't think they're scheduled. They can pull it off.
Yeah, especially with all the other.
Actually, schedule wise, everybody says advantage Tennessee Titans right now. They think of this current, but then again, they could be in the division, which means advantage against Indianapolis Colts. Then, I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen yet that we thought was in the bag that hasn't happened. I mean, is it Steelers win them all? They're in the driver's seat.
Yeah,
and the Ravens are out of the driver's seat.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly. At this point, if all the 5 and 6, 4 and 7 teams, if someone goes on a winning streak, that's the team that wins it.
Yeah.
And I mean like a 5-game, almost 4-game winning streak, they're in the driver's seat then. They're going to win, probably get the 6th seed.
Yeah.
Who that is, I don't know. I've tried to figure out schedules. I like Buffalo's chances right now just because their next 4 games look very manageable.
Yeah.
And everybody says, what about New England? I'm thinking, look, at this point, they're going to clinch a first-round bye, I think, before the last week. They're going to have the division clinched. The only thing they have it clinched is home field advantage.
Yeah.
And if Denver goes on a winning streak in the end, it's not going to happen. It's going to be
both. Yeah.
It's going to be New England's going to not need to start their starters anymore. They're not going to have Tom Brady in there, anybody. And if that's the case, I say advantage Bills, who actually did give the Patriots trouble in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Granted, that was when you thought that New England was dead, and this was that they win the division, but they wouldn't really be a playoff team, a Super Bowl team. But now they are a Super Bowl team now.
Yeah, yeah, and especially after that Denver and New England game this past weekend, Brady versus Manning never gets old, as I said. But yeah, I mean, I think after that game, both of those teams are like, okay, we got to get in playoff mode now.
Definitely.
Either already they're great teams, but I think they're only going to be playing at a higher level, and so yeah, I would think that those two teams get the first round buys, and that New England doesn't screw it up.
No, I don't. I just
it's Tom Brady.
It's a 3-game lead. It's against the questionable New York Jets and the questionable Miami Dolphins and the somehow still in it Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I mean, who could go on a run, but yeah.
I mean, I just looked at the Bills' schedule, and I forget who else they face, but it's the Falcons, the Jets, the Dolphins, and then they end up with New England. Like I said, might not be starting the starters then. Right. If that's the case, advantage Buffalo.
Yeah.
Which means they could go on a 5-game winning streak, and if this close towards the end with all these question mark teams back for the 6th seed, that might be good enough to get into the 6th seed then.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, E.J. Manuel's not doing a bad job.
But I think he's back too. If he wasn't back, I'd say they have no shot.
When they had Jonathan Toole in there, that's what they were kind of struggling then.
But I think Manuel back. I think they actually have a shot now at actually making a run.
Yeah,
especially since Manuel and the Bills just destroyed the New York Jets.
Yeah,
I mean, and I think I think they can beat Miami, and I really do think, crazy as it sounds, I think they can beat the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah,
even though Atlanta did show some sign of life against the Saints.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and now Tampa Bay. Now Atlanta's the last place team in that division too, because Tampa Bay won 3 straight. So I guess technically Atlanta's the worst team in the NFC right now.
Yeah. But not the NFL. That goes to the Houston Texans, who apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 2-9, and Jacksonville's 2-9. So,
but they beat. But they beat. I mean, Jacksonville does face Houston twice yet.
Yeah.
So
Houston,
But I think right now I think
Houston 9 straight.
I think Houston is hurting so much.
They're the longest team who have not won.
Tyler said earlier they should be 0-11.
Yeah.
San Diego I think should have been a loss, and I think that who else was it? Tennessee should have been a loss. I think.
But yet the Texans still found ways to win those games, and
then
found ways to, and they almost beat Seattle. I mean, so and that was before,
and they almost beat Indianapolis, but they blew it in the second half.
And this was before they were almost, and they had all that drama with their quarterbacks.
And now Andre Johnson, who might be taking his ball and leaving Houston because he's getting sick and tired of this franchise.
Yeah, well, I would be too after the.
Hell, I think J.J. Watt might be. I don't know how many contracts are up, but hell, I'd be surprised if J.J. Watt takes his ball and leaves.
Yeah.
Like you said, you had this as a playoff team.
Well, not just me. I mean,
a lot of people did. I did it. I surprised everybody made Kansas City, and now I said I don't look so stupid with Kansas City as a playoff team.
No, I mean Kansas City, possibly. Yeah, I mean I didn't.
I mean, I said because I think that they would be the second best team in the AFC West, and I pretty much called it.
Kind of hard, yeah. I mean,
I just figured that they would win some games where they were. Some people might thought they might not win.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat the Giants, they beat the Cowboys, which I think they beat us.
There are teams, there are teams on their schedule that they beat that we thought were going to be better than they ended up.
But even I thought they could actually pull off something there, and I think that there were a few experts that actually said that at the very least they might get 7th overall, like they might barely make it maybe, but I figured 6th at least. And actually, it might just be 5th. They might get the 5th seed, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
very good.
It's their 5th seed to lose at this point. I mean,
Although, like I said, they beat Denver. They're in the driver's seat again.
Yeah, I mean, if they beat Denver...
And look at the rest of the schedule. Advantage Chiefs then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's left on Denver's schedule.
Okay. I'm going to say they can't say it's Washington, Indianapolis, Oakland, San Diego again. That's what's left for Kansas City after Denver Sunday. Yeah. Denver?
Well, I mean, Indianapolis.
I guess they face the Chargers again. I think they face the Raiders again. Trying to think who else they face. I don't know. They face some other people again, pretty much.
Yeah.
And yeah, it might favor them there, but at the same time, there, then they need Kansas City to lose again.
Yeah.
Which could happen, but I think it's
which could happen against Indianapolis, and
I guess you against the Chargers because really I don't see the Raiders or Washington doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Raiders. Yeah,
I mean, like I said, technically still a legitimate playoff team.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that they could barely score against Tennessee doesn't show a lot for this franchise. Granted, if they shock me yesterday against Dallas, first of all, I'll be happy because I'm like, okay, this is great. Great. Yeah. I thought, well, first of all, that's a win and common opponent for us. It's an advantage because, I mean, they would be 1-2. We would still be 2-0.
Yeah.
And even if we lose to Arizona, no big deal. We have the same record then.
Yeah.
Which means, the next 2 games still matter, but at least, they blew a game they were supposed to win, and we lost. I mean, again, we do beat Arizona. Well, we beat Arizona. We might actually. I don't know.
They're on pace. Yeah.
I think advantage us then.
Yeah.
Because Chicago, we have Detroit, Minnesota. Then next to they have Chicago and Green Bay.
Yeah.
Which means we could have a 2-game lead going into Chicago and they got Washington there. Which means if we beat Chicago, we don't even need to worry about the Dallas game. Yeah. We could actually win the division then.
Yeah, they could finish 4. If they beat Arizona, they could finish 4-1 then at that point. I mean, if they can beat Arizona, they could beat anybody really on their schedule remaining.
I mean, obviously, if they beat Arizona, I think the 49ers would be very happy.
Yeah.
Although I still think Arizona can still catch them there because they still face the 49ers.
They have the same record. Yeah.
I mean, as far as clinching, I mean, the Seahawks, if they beat New Orleans this Sunday, which is going to be a big game because that could determine the 1 seed.
Yeah, and there's been suspensions in Seattle too, if you heard about.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
But they get Percy Harvin's back, so that might get the offense going.
Yeah, still, I mean, in Seattle, advantage Seattle there, but
yeah. But no, I mean, I think if Seattle wins against the Saints and against the Niners, they get the division title and they get the first round bye.
Yeah. Right now, they already have a 3-game lead on San Francisco and Arizona too.
Yeah. So even if they lose to San Francisco and the Saints, they still got a 1-game lead with 3 games left. Yeah. Which would be Arizona, I think St. Louis, and I forget who the other.
And the Rams, at this point, I mean, they're kind of just playing the role of being a spoiler, So,
I mean, they're 5-6.
Yeah, they're really, that division's really not that bad at all.
But then again, I said 5 games left. Can they actually catch up to 7-4 Arizona? Yeah,
that's
7.
Exactly.
Not to mention all the 6-5 NFC North teams right now.
Yeah.
Plus the 5-1 Green Bay Packers. Yeah. I never thought we'd actually have a tie in the NFL regular season again.
Yeah. But we almost had 2 with that New England and
Denver game. Yeah, it was going to go
that could have been a tie.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it bounced off of Wes Welker that punt, and there you go, field goal range.
Well, no, it wasn't Wes Welker. It was he was the guy returning it. It was some guy who was going to block for Welker, and Welker actually kind of gave the signal to get away, but it was too late, and the ball bounced in there.
Yeah.
So, and it was Skip Bayless. He won't blame that all completely on Welker. Because that guy should have known better.
Yeah.
Especially this late in the game.
Yeah.
But, he I don't know. How did Skip Bayless say it there? New England will never regret getting rid of Wes Welker. Because of all the key drops he's made for the franchise.
Yeah.
Specifically, the one against the Giants, which would have won the game, Super Bowl for him. Yeah. Although, my excuse is that was a high pass by Brady. I mean, if he would have caught it, it would have been an amazing catch by Welker. But I think it's a high pass. I will say, though, that the one against Baltimore, which would have also won it for them last year, was definitely a drop pass by Welker.
Yeah.
But no, I think Welker's had some great stats for Denver. So he's definitely a talented player.
Yeah. Yeah, high reception guy.
And like I said, I think that Brady has made guys like Edelman and so on playmakers now.
Yeah.
He just makes everybody around him good.
Yeah. And, it's amazing how... when they're down 24-0, that Tom just somehow he gets his receivers to play the way they need to play.
I mean, I say he's a very emotional guy, and that one play against the officials definitely proved that.
Yeah, that was an entertaining game.
Once again, you got to get to the official's face over supposedly what he calls a bad call.
Yeah.
Sorry, a bad no call.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think as of right now, it's a 2-horse race for the Super Bowl in the AFC.
Yeah.
I really think Denver and New England are not in anybody's area. Although, even though I think Kansas City has a shot against Denver, just because I think emotionally, if the game wasn't close against Denver, I'd say advantage Denver because I think that I mean, you think they're going to be motivated? I think they're going to be emotionally distraught from that loss.
I think
I'd say it's going to be in their head, and they're going to look ahead and they're going to say, "No big deal. AFC Championship will be the number 1 seed. It'll be in Mile High. They can't beat us at Mile High. It won't happen." And all of a sudden, they lose to Kansas City, and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap! Not only are we not going to get a 1 seed possibly, which means we won't be facing New England at Mile High, we won't even get a first round bye. which means we got to play harder in the playoffs then.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it could be a look ahead also. I think there's a lot of people like I said, Denver, New England almost have to meet in the championship game at this point. I don't see anybody else. Like I said, depending on which Colts team shows up, and the Bengals have a good defense, but is Andy Dalton really going to carry this team maybe to a Super Bowl? I don't see it. Kansas City, good defense, but the offense just hasn't clicked all season.
Yeah.
And the 6th seed, like I said, flip a coin because really it could be anybody at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, advantage clearly is Denver, New England. NFC is a little more wide open.
Yeah.
You can say the Seahawks. You could say the Saints. You could even say the Cardinals at this point, or the 49ers still. I'd say San Francisco has a shot, and obviously, like I said, I'm still going with Denver, San Francisco, with Denver winning. Payman's going to get another ring. Maybe his last ring, too.
Yeah.
You obviously had San Francisco and Denver, but with Colin Kaepernick getting his first ring, making up for the ring he didn't get last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, besides Seattle and New Orleans, you can have Carolina get thrown in there. I think the Panthers, I think, were very, very legitimate. Like I said, Niners, Cardinals. I still think the NFC North, even if they get even if they're the 4th seed, whoever wins the division, you still have an Aaron Rodgers Packers team.
Yeah.
The Lions, if they ever show up, could be a very tough opponent.
Yeah.
And Chicago has, I think, some playmakers too. And in the NFC East, even if it's the Eagles, even if there's like so much dysfunctionality in the NFC for everybody having a shot, I still think the Eagles can pull it off.
Yeah.
Or the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And that's really the only other teams. Because I think New England's done, and Washington just wants the season to be over.
New York's done, you mean?
Yeah, New York's done.
Not New England.
Yeah, sorry. New York's done. Washington has been done for the whole season.
Yeah. Yeah, how about that torch snuffing game? After, they won 4 straight. They've done this before. And then, no, Dallas. Though we were rooting for the Giants, you know, but... It would have made things easier for the Eagles going ahead. But.
I mean, they made a comeback. They were trailing.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the key play of that game was when Victor Cruz got the ball stripped from him.
Yeah.
That strip doesn't happen. New York wins the game, I think.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you go up 7-0 on that kind of a play. That just screws the whole momentum up, I think.
Yeah.
That too, in the Winston Bayless, it's windy. It was cold weather, so there wasn't going to be a whole lot of throwing happening.
Yeah.
Which means Manning could not throw for like 400 plus yards like he did against Dallas in Jerry World in the dome at the beginning of the year. And that's the one advantage we might have against Dallas. It's that it's inside a dome.
Yeah.
So environment, no factor. Yeah. And if our passer-happy offense, if Nick Foles' arm, if he's not under pressure, he could probably light up against that defense maybe.
Yeah.
Especially since that Cowboys team has gone through some very serious injuries this year.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this week is going to be big. But I really do think that the next 3 weeks are really the key mark of where we're going to be towards the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? I really don't. If Dallas wins, it doesn't matter. If we lose to Arizona, it doesn't matter. The next 3 games matter.
Right. Because if you lose 2 of them, like, do you really think then that the Eagles are going to pull it off? That's the thing.
Yeah.
They could lose to Arizona and then they could win,
the next 3 or the next 2?
Yes. Then they're still in it. But
and I see next 2. I think we can beat Minnesota. And if I had to pick between Detroit and Chicago, I say the Detroit because I just feel like if we can cover Calvin Johnson, their offense is done then. Reggie Bush hasn't really been on fire lately, and I don't think Matt Stafford has anybody else to throw to in that team.
Yeah.
No one else is stepping up on that receiving core.
But I mean, then again, the secondary isn't too great. If they don't get pressure on Stafford, then
Yeah, well, it's like we don't get pressure.
If they
do, but we have to contain Calvin Johnson. I guess.
Yeah.
That's the first rule of beating the Lions this year. You can't let Calvin Johnson go crazy on your defense, or otherwise the game's over.
Yeah. Right.
So to me, it's keep pressuring Calvin Johnson. We have a shot against the Lions. Then Bears. I don't know which Bears team's going to show up because
their defense hasn't been too great this year. So I mean,
especially against the run,
could be a shootout,
which advantage for McCoy. Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to have a shootout with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
shootouts are toss-ups. That's the problem with shootouts, Tyler. They can be toss-ups.
Right, exactly.
And I don't want to toss-up. I want games where we legitimately win a game.
Right. Yeah.
And that might not happen with this team. Like I said, we're doing way better than any expert ever thought. Most experts thought we were going to be doing.
Chris Collinsworth is probably thinking, let's go, not too far from winning this division, from making my prediction true.
And I said, the only reason why I think we still have a shot, too, is, like I said, Dallas has had a history.
Had their moments, yeah,
of just collapsing
in December.
This month.
Yeah.
And if they do, this would be sad because, like I said, they got Oakland and Washington on their schedule yet. Yeah. 2 games where they should win.
They should win, but they could. Who knows? They could.
And Chicago and Green Bay are winnable games for them, I think.
Yeah.
Even if Rodgers does come back, because there's some question marks on that Packers defense and so on. But
yeah.
It's not going to be a dull moment to end this regular season, though. There's definitely some wide open, crazy races still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely the AFC race is the craziest one for the 6th seed. That's the craziest race. Because really, mine is Houston or Jacksonville. Everybody has a shot in the AFC of winning it still.
Yeah.
I mean, of making it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mine is Jacksonville or Houston. Even though they technically have mathematical shot at still making a run.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening there because that would involve a lot of losses and a lot of wins on their part. So, I mean, it's not going to be a dull moment.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, this is good. I mean, right here in the midst of Thanksgiving, and the Eagles are pretty relevant topic here in this race to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's that's a good thing at this point in the season where we didn't think that they'd be in contention for the division title. Really. We didn't. So
I think we both had. I had them finishing 4th, I think, in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
With a solid 6-10 record, and here we are with 6 wins, and we're tied for the division.
Yeah. Then again, we didn't think the Redskins would be last in the division too. So.
We didn't think RG2 would have a very bad year.
Yeah. So, but
I'm sure in the offseason we'll go through every team and say who's staying, who's going, what VVAP's going to happen.
State of the team addresses.
State of team addresses.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, I guess that'll close things up here on this Thanksgiving Eve edition of TW Sports Talk.
Yeah. Tomorrow, enjoy the games, enjoy the turkey, and
Yeah. Pumpkin pie and whatever else.
Yeah, apple pie, pumpkin pie, whichever pie you like. Cherry pie. I think some people will eat that on Thanksgiving. And
just some water. Yeah,
like 3 different kinds of stuffing.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in as always, and have a great Thanksgiving.